Hey everyone, welcome back to the Coding Travel Bug. I'm still in Japan. Today I'm just going to take you into a food shop, and I thought I'd just give you some prices because that's what I do in every country. I won't be doing a lot of shopping, just to give you some idea of like how much it costs to be in Japan. This is the Aeon shopping center in Kaihimakahari. It's kind of not the cheapest place. Cheaper places would be like Justco, which is another big food area, food shopping center. But I just thought it's what's close, so I'm just going to show you around. You might even stop in at a convenience store and show some prices in there. So this is a quick price check. At this time, I'm doing this video, 100 yen is about 68 cents US. So if you think if you see 100, just think about 70 cents. So 500 yen would be about, just say $3.40. All right. I'm going to give the prices in yen because I'm not very good at math. All right, let's have a look. Hope they don't stop me in there. Yeah, just walked in, and typically you'll find a thing with a lot of food on it. These are called bento, which are like Japanese box lunch. And they're often, it's getting in the afternoon now, they're on like 10% off. The later you come in, you might get them off at 30%. But right now, at face price, they're like $3 to $4 each. And they're healthy, well, fairly healthy. A lot of deep fried stuff, but pretty yummy food. And this one here, that's like chicken and also some beef with rice, a little bit of vegetables. That is 429 yen. I got the omelet and pasta. We got the festive red rice and the salmon, which is very healthy. So the salmon's a little more expensive. That's $6.45. All right, next up is a Japanese fruit, which is notoriously expensive. These little boxes here, they're called the nashimomo bakosetto. So nashi is like Japanese pears, and the momo is a peach. And those are like, $25 for 6 pieces of fruit. And that's actually not that expensive. I've seen ones with 2 small melons in them for like $300. These are things that Japanese people will often, if they go someplace like a famous tourism spot, they'll come in sets of 2 and they'll be super expensive. And yeah, they may be a little more delicious than the regular ones, but you don't buy them for yourself. You buy these to give people as gifts because people know that fruit is expensive. It's kind of a very healthy form of bribery in this country, where you can make nice with your boss by saying, "Oh, look at this thing. Oh, it's nothing. It's just a little something I found," but it's with intent. Case in point, these little bits of muscat grapes are about $14 or $15 for that little package. Most of my followers are like guys my age, so there's probably not a lot of vegans in there, but just in case you are, let's have a look at the tofu options here, which I never eat personally, but some people like it. All right, so for that double package of tofu, you're looking at about 80 cents. All right, and if you are into tofu, there's no shortage of it in this country. Literally, there's entire sections of just tofu. You've also got various kinds of konnyaku and various vegetable-based stuff, very low calorie, healthy. You got some kimchi, right? So lots of pickled vegetables and stuff like that. I'm kind of into that here. But they even have stuff for pathetic bachelors like me, like this bacon pizza, which is 321 yen. So, whatever, $2.30. All right, and so we got some, this is American shoulder. That is 590 yen. It's on sale right now for 413 yen. So that is American beef. They also have a lot of stuff like this. These are like barbecue packets people would use. They just sit at home and they've got a thing and they just, cook it at home. But you will notice that a lot of the beef here, it's marbled, right? Japanese love having a lot of fat in their beef. In fact, wagyu and Kobe-gyu and Matsuzaki-gyu, those very expensive ones, are basically marbled beef. So probably not healthy, but it's really good beef. But I am surprised to see American beef here. I didn't think they had any at this point, but that is a tiny little sirloin steak running for 1,861 yen, so $12, I guess. One thing Japan does kind of well is milk. I mean, you know, I had a buddy who was a farmer and told me that, you know, it depends on what they feed cows as to what the milk tastes like. But I guess they feed their cows well here because Japanese milk is pretty good. This is regular. This is Hokkaido. This is, I think, full fat milk. That is 200 for 1 liter, 278 yen. This brand of this shop, the top value, this one here, this is what do you call fat-free milk, skim milk. That is 213. So about a $1.50 or something like that. Anyway, unlike my video from the Philippines, which talked about the milk, I mean, Philippines milk is pretty gross. I mean, you can't even get fresh milk, but they have it here, right? And as you can see back here, there's all kinds of yogurt products and things like that. Pretty much anything you buy in Japan, the food is going to be good. Japan does food very well, super high quality ingredients. You know, as you can see, things aren't like crazy expensive here. It's, and if you go to cheaper places, it's even cheaper again. So, ooh, I just found one of my old favorite coffees right here. Right, it's like a cafe latte. These are 159. So, sorry, I can't keep up with the math, but we'll say $1 for that. Lots of bread. Just a quick note about Japanese bread. So this one here is 181 yen. So whatever, $1.20. One thing you cannot really find in Japan is like, you know, you'll get bread like pumpernickel and stuff like that, like fancy breads. In Japan, they like everything sweet. So most bread, a lot of bread, not all of it, will have like melon injected into it or things like that. Some like creams and stuff. Here you got some, this is like raisin bread, which is actually, I'm gonna grab some, super yummy. But most of the bread here is like, you know, this kind of thing. It's just white bread. In fact, they have shelves of it here. These are the thick slice. These would be good for like grilled cheese and stuff. 192, so about $1.40. So although there's tons of bread in Japan, if you like, you know, whole wheat, multi-grain, whatever, yeah, this is not the kind of place you'd want to buy that. You'll need to find, if you find a bakery, there's one in here somewhere, like a proper bakery, they'll do all that. But, you know, you have to kind of find your way around. There aren't many stores in Japan that do everything. For Western tastes, you might have to shop around a little bit. Okay. And especially now, because the United States, like everyone's freaking out about egg prices, right? So there you go. These are actually with extra vitamin D added. These are 278 yen. So about $1.80, I guess, for 10 kind of small eggs, I guess. They don't look very big. What about butter? Here's some Hokkaido butter. So this thing here, which is 200 grams of Hokkaido butter, that is 570 yen. So that is about $4 for that. So, and it'll be good because Hokkaido anything is kind of good. Actually, I'm not even sure what these are. Uzura tamago. So who knows what a uzura is, because I don't. It looks like it's maybe some kind of sparrow egg or something. I'll have to look up what uzura is, and then, oh, these are actually cooked. Anyway, you can get whatever those are, sparrow eggs, for like $1.60. Okay, I did find something here that is kind of my normal food. So one thing I eat, I tend to eat a lot of, is salmon, which every country it's, you know, sometimes hard, sometimes easy to find. There you go, 3 salmon steaks for 1,058 yen. So whatever that is, that's like about $7, give or take, for 3 salmon steaks. Kind of one of my go-to things. Salmon and blueberries, baby. If you eat salmon and blueberries and walnuts a lot, you will have a far lower chance of having any kind of health issues. Or you could come to the ice cream thing, of which they have a lot. So like a normal ice cream bar, this one says it's got 0 sugar, right? That is 138 yen. So yeah, about $1 for an ice cream bar. Right? They have plenty of ice cream here. They do like their sweets in Japan, I'll tell you that. Okay, so I'm now in the snacks aisle, so you know where my priorities are. So this big bag of potato chips, right? That is 160 grams. That is 257 yen, so $1.60 for that. You see, that's consomme flavor, right? So consomme panchi flavor. They like flavors like things like seaweed and consomme. They don't have the really thick flavors. They don't have, the heavy flavors like you would back in the States. There's a tiny little thing of almonds. That's about 70 cents. Mixed nuts, those are 108 also. All right, so that's weird. Oh, you know why they're cheaper? Here's something they do in Japan. It's sneaky, sneaky. So you can see there that they're not actually mixed nuts. They're mixed nuts that are filled with also corn nuts, which are not nuts. They're just a filler that they use to keep things cheap. So that would explain why that is also 80 cents. These are chestnuts, which is kind of a popular thing here. Everything here is apparently the same price. Everything on this shelf is 108 yen. Chestnuts are yummy, by the way. And I want to say they're healthy. I don't know. Wow, they got beef jerky. They got all kinds of stuff. Ooh, okay. And what video would be complete without alcohol? So this is the wall of alcohol. Now, Japanese like to drink a fair bit. So one of the big things they'll drink here is something called a Chuhai, which is something like this. All right. So it'll be fruit juice mixed with some kind of shochu Korean thing. This big half-liter, 500 milliliter tin is 181 yen. So like $1.20. So alcohol here is pretty cheap, I think. Let's see if I can find some quality beer here. Hold on. All right, now let's get to the good stuff, the beer. So first thing you need to know is that I think the best beer in Japan is this one here. It's Sapporo Black Label. Right? Sapporo Kuro Raberu, it's called. So this thing of 6 cans of beer is 1,152 yen. So that's about $8, give or take. This is my favorite beer. People say that Asahi Super Dry is the best. They would be wrong. That stuff tastes like ass. But you'll notice that the price was, 1,100. Now there's another product right there. This is also Sapporo, but it is 888 yen for this one. So why the difference in price? So when I moved here, it was like 1992 when I moved here. Things were all crazy expensive. Everything was premium. But as the economy started to tank, they started coming up with alternative choices. So all the stuff down on this side here is all like real beer, right? It's fully brewed beer. And then stuff up here is what they call, I think, happoshu. I think this is all happoshu. It might be some other kind of thing. If anyone knows about beer and brewing, it's like, it's a little more hoppy. It hasn't gone through the final stage or something. So all these name brands also make a cheaper version of happoshu. But the secret is in Japan, that 888 yen beer, it will be good. It's fine for a few beers on a hot day, right by a river. It's perfectly good beer. Although when you actually taste a real beer, me and my buddy were out last night having a few premium, Sapporo premium beers. And it's like drinking, well, not Guinness, but it's very, very good beer. So there is a difference. It's not the same, but the prices are definitely different. All right, so that's about beer prices. Let's keep on moving. I got some vodkas and some gins, things like that. See the prices there. All right, so here in the whiskey aisle, I found this one, Maker's Mark. I really like old fashions, right? And I like them with Maker's Mark, which is Kentucky bourbon. That is exactly $25. Okay, that's 3,700 yen for 700 milliliters of Maker's Mark, which is very good whiskey. Although as a Canadian, right now with our elbows up, we're not buying American products. I'm sorry if you're American. I would buy this though, right? If I were making these at home, like I'm all for protecting Canada, but I would buy that because it's like Kentucky bourbon is just phenomenally good whiskey, right? So gotta love it. Americans know how to make whiskey. They really do. And wine as well. A lot of people don't know that, but like in blind formal contests between French wines and American wines often win. Like Americans are very good at making stuff like this. So, all right. Anyway, that's about it for alcohol. You can tell where my priorities are because I spent a fairly long time in here. Okay, next up, I found some coffee here. This little bit of Blue Mountain, which is like regular coffee. This is 200 grams. I guess this is just for like normal drip coffee. That is 1,782 yen. So probably around $10 for that. This big thing of beans here, 380 grams, 818. So I don't know, 450, I guess. I'll have to figure these prices out later. All right, so that's regular like department store coffee. City roast, these are beans, 786, right, for 200 grams. Starbucks, don't need that because Starbucks. Yeah, coffee, one good thing about coffee here is like in Thailand, it can be hit and miss when you pick a brand. But again, in Japan, you can't go wrong. You just pick whatever price range you like, and it may be not quite as good or than the next one, but it's almost never bad in Japan, right? Food quality. Okay, it's a good thing I came in here because I'd actually forgotten I need to buy this. This is just Japanese green tea, right? What they call ocha. And this is Itoen, which I think is a Shizuoka brand. This is 516, so that is about 100 something baht, I guess about $3. So when I buy this in Thailand, these things are like more than 3 times as expensive as here. I know a lot of people don't like green tea, right? But if you just make a cup of this in the morning, just put a couple teaspoons of this in a mug, put some hot water, you can add some sugar. The research on what green tea does for you in terms of the antioxidants is insane. So add a cup or two of that a day, or you can just put powder if you have a protein shake. That's what I do. I just put some chocolate protein powder, some blueberries, some other fruit. I use a lot of frozen fruit, and I just plunk a bunch of green tea in there, and it's still good for you. You don't have to boil it, right? I kind of forgot that I'm being very like Western centric here, but obviously, Japan loves rice. There's a lot here, and the price will depend. Usually, if it's Japanese rice, it'll be more expensive. And this stuff here is California rice. So that's about $14 for 4 kilograms. This is Akita-ken Japanese rice, 5 kilograms for about $35. They don't have my old brand that I used to like, but one thing you have to know about is Japanese rice needs to be washed. Right? If you just put it in a rice cooker and hit the button, you're going to wind up with foam, which I thought was normal my first time because no one taught me how to do it. So I ate everything. I even ate the foam. I thought rice is disgusting. So you have to wash it. I'm not going to show you how to do that, but just ask someone. Good excuse to meet some like local Japanese girl and say, hey, can you teach me how to wash my rice? So yeah, there you go. So you've just learned a Japanese pickup line. So I don't know how I'd say that in Japanese, like, 私の米の洗い方を教えてくれませんか? Or something like that, maybe. I don't know. All right, moving right along. All right, let's do one more price check here. This is what they call sea chicken, which as far as I know is like tuna, but not good tuna. So 1 can of this, which is 140 grams, is 300 yen. So whatever, $2, give or take. All right, and there's all kinds of, you've got Spam here. Damn, so 1 can of Spam, if you like that. My buddy Eddie used to fry us up some Spam back in Vancouver. That's 559, so 370 for that. And speaking about rice, you get an automatic rice cooker. You can put things inside the rice that will cook with it. And this shit is next level. So these things here, you just plunk this package in, and that is tori chicken. And that says kamameshi. So it's like a hot pot of food. But basically, you put this in with your chicken or your rice, and it'll cook. So this one's a lot cheaper. This one's like, I don't know, like $1.10 or something. So this is gomoku, which means 5 different things in it. That's kind of, to me, the best one, gomoku. Anything that is the tori kamameshi gomoku is going to be good. All right, and you got mabu tofu here. There's all kinds of stuff you can stick in a rice pot. That I did do a lot of when I lived in Japan. Japanese rice is like, it's not like other countries where you eat rice with stuff. Japan, my first year, I would just take a bowl of white rice, cooked obviously, plonk a can of that sea chicken stuff, the tuna on it, put a load of soy sauce on it, and maybe even some furikake, which is something they use for kids. It's like a flavorful thing. And that was enough, right? That was a whole meal. But then when I discovered this shit, like my life changed. It was just, you come home. So my typical night when I would come home on a cold night, I would hit a button inside my door, which automatically filled my Japanese bathtub, which is these little mini things. They're super hot. And I would press a button that would start my rice thing cooking. And yeah, in an hour, you're just warm and full and happy as a bug in a rug. All right, so I'm kind of missing Japan now, if I'm being honest. Like, I forget what it was like to live here. It's been like 10 years since I lived here. In every country I've done this with, I've managed to get a thing of Coke. And this one here, it's 192 yen for 1.5 liters. So that's not the biggest bottle, but it's pretty big. So that's about $1.20, right? So if you like Coke, this has now become the standard of my videos. All right, so on that note, I think I'll finish up here. The shopping experience in Japan is always kind of fun, right? Some general tips in Japan is go shopping in the evenings because especially in places like Jusco, all of this kind of food, all of the stuff that's perishable, they'll start slapping tickets on it, right? Tofu, anything that's cooked, obviously chicken, anything they would have to throw away, they'll start slapping minus 10%. And then a couple hours later, you'll see another on top of that, which would be minus 20% and 30%, maybe up as high as 50%. So, you swoop in at, an hour before the place closes, and you can save a ton of money in Japan. So even though Japan has this reputation of being super expensive, and it was when I got here in 1992, a cup of coffee was, $15. It is very reasonable now because Japan's economy has been kind of sucking wind for the last 25 years. It's getting better now, and as you can see, Japan is still doing very well. It's a phenomenally awesome country to live in. You should definitely visit Japan, but it's not the super expensive place. Like if you buy the fruit that I showed you in the beginning, yeah, Japan's going to cost you a fortune, but it can be pretty cheap too. Anyway, so that's a rough price check. I think I'll skip the convenience store stuff because I think you've probably seen enough of my face for this video. I don't know if I'll have time. I'm going back to Thailand tomorrow. So if I think of something else I want to say, I will. Otherwise, from the Coding Travel Bug, this is Mike. If you have any comments or questions about Japan, anything, not even about food or anything, just if you've thought of traveling here, you need any advice, where to see, just write a comment, right? I'm always happy to talk to people about Japan. I lived here 23 years and Japan's got a soft spot in my heart. All right, everyone. So you guys have a great day wherever you are. And thanks for watching from the Coding Travel Bug. This is Mike. Take it easy. See ya. Or I should say, I'm in Japan. I should say sayonara. Or actually you say mata ne, which means like see you later. Ciao.